Welcome to Paradigm Shift Parenting, a podcast for women who make their lives better by first making themselves better. At Paradigm Shift Parenting, we believe that self-improvement is the highest form of self-care. Each episode, we're going to either shift our mindset about something, explore the myth that motherhood and martyrdom are synonymous, replace the oh-so-trendy victimhood mentality with a healthy dose of accountability and responsibility, or simply explore the shared experiences of modern motherhood. I'm your imperfect host, Binky Bell, and I'm glad you're here. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Paradigm Shift Parenting. Now, if you're listening to this on one of the podcasting apps, if you're listening to it as a podcast instead of watching it on my YouTube, if you could do me a favor, if you're listening on iTunes, leave me a rating and a review. That would help me a lot, and I would really appreciate it. That's all I have for my shameless self-promotion today, and we can just get into the episode. Okay, so what we're talking about today is this concept of social media being a highlight reel. Okay, because whenever it's mentioned, it almost always has this, it's got like a pejorative connotation, right? Like it's framed in this negative context. And I understand that argument or that conversation taking place with children, for children who aren't fully yet emotionally or mentally developed. It's very important to explain to them that what we see online, what we see in media is not the full picture, right? What we're seeing is curated and manufactured, right? That's an important conversation for children to have. But social media being a highlight reel, that conversation, whenever I hear it being brought up, is almost always exclusively brought up as it relates to adults who know better. Like, we've been on social media long enough that we know there's always more to the story, right? So I recently had an exchange with somebody online. Now, before I share the story, I want you to know that I openly admit that I fucked up. I broke my own I broke a few rules. The first rule being, don't spend a lot of time scrolling social media, and I found myself on the Explore page. Now, because of the business that I'm in, what I'm doing with the podcast and my Instagram, I follow a lot of motherhood type hashtags and accounts. So the algorithm, doing the work that it does, sends me all of the motherhood, parenting, housewifing type of content and memes and stuff. So I have to be very careful about the time that I spend on my Explore page, because it can get very dark very quickly with all of the content that I speak out against, right? So mistake number 1, I'm scrolling on the Explore page. Mistake number 2, I found something that I didn't agree with and I commented on it. Now, I have a personal rule to not comment on or engage with things that I disagree with, because it's my personal opinion that is stupid and pointless. I don't believe that opinions are being changed or minds are being changed in the comment section. That it's just no good ever comes from it, right? So rule number 2, broken. And rule number 3, I was kind of an asshole about it. If you're going to break all of these rules and you feel inclined to comment on something that you disagree with, it's probably best to not be a dick about it. And I was kind of a dick. So what had happened was, I'm scrolling the Explore page and I see this, a text post, like a picture that's just a block of text. And I read it, and within the text, she had said a few things, but I responded directly to one thing in particular. And what she had said was, well, actually, let me first explain to you that this post has since been deleted. So I'm telling you the story. It happened a few months ago from the best of my memory. I didn't take screenshots. The post is gone. So, you get my memory. But what she had said basically was, if you're a woman online, if you're a mother online on social media, and you're not talking about how hard motherhood is, if you are not sharing your struggles, if you are using social media solely as a highlight reel, then you're part of the problem. You are part of the reason why mothers have it so fucking hard, why they're suffering so much. Now, going back to the last rule of not being an asshole, the comment that I made was, this is a shit post that panders to women who are completely comfortable being miserable in motherhood. Right? Like, I stand by what I said. I believe that that's true. It just, some things don't need to be said, right? So, and I fucked up. That was my bad, right? So she actually, the originator, the creator of the content, responded to me, and we had a little bit of a back and forth, and then the post got deleted. So now, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing with that. Let's talk about one thing first. To say that if you're not talking about your struggles in motherhood, if you are using social media as a highlight reel, then you're part of the problem. You're part of the reason why mothers have it so hard. What's going on with that statement? Let's unpack that and figure that out a little bit. What she's doing with that statement is she's echoing the sentiment that motherhood, she's echoing the sentiment that no one talks about how hard motherhood is, right? That's something that we see all the time. No one tells you how hard it is. That's the sentiment that she's echoing with that statement. And now I have already mentioned that I think that that's bullshit. I think that's a bullshit argument that no one talks about how hard motherhood is. But also what that statement is doing is it's following the line of logic that we've had around things like mental health, things that have been truly stigmatized by society, things that have not been even represented in our media online for a very long time. Though, like things like mental health or mental wellness, those are things that have been stigmatized. And those are things where it was necessary for people to start talking about those, start having those conversations. Okay. Motherhood doesn't fit those categories, right? Because let's look at how motherhood is represented in sitcoms, on TV, in movies, online. The only conversations taking place regarding motherhood are the conversations that say it's a fucking shit show. And you have to drink wine and hide chocolate and secretly eat candy and sit in your car for 5 minutes alone to cry. That is the conversation that people are having about motherhood. The hardships, the struggles of motherhood, they aren't a dirty secret. It's not something that society doesn't talk about. It's the only thing society talks about whenever we talk about motherhood. Okay? So that is bullshit. The problem, though, is that it gets a lot of likes, a lot of views, a lot of clicks, and a lot of shares, so people keep creating it. Okay? So, but let's talk about even if that were true, that motherhood is by nature miserable and hard, and nobody's talking about it. Whenever I think about that, what she had said, if you're using social media as a highlight reel, then you're responsible for the suffering, why women have it so hard. What I keep coming back to and what I keep thinking of is just, I mean, how fucking dare you? How dare you make happy women who are successful in their marriage, successful in parenting, either by luck or by merit or by work, how dare you make them responsible for the suffering of other women? That is banana ass fucking crazy. It's crazy. But it's so easily digestible on the surface. Because again, we've had that same line of logic happen with mental health to say like, oh my God, something's hard. We should be talking about it. We should be having these conversations. But those conversations are already happening. And it's not your responsibility, anybody else's responsibility, to continue to talk about the struggles. Right? And you know how, let's just think about it. Think about that conversation, that statement, through a different filter. Nobody is going to, okay, you know the accounts, we've all seen them. There's the baking accounts, like cookie decorating, right? Or cake decorating. These videos go viral of these bakers who make amazing cookies. Like they make cookies that just are beautiful. They're so much detail, so intricate. They do it so well. They're just fucking killing it. They make beautiful desserts, right? Nobody is going to those accounts and telling them, you know what? You sharing how much you enjoy baking, you sharing how good you are at it, how much you enjoy doing it, you talking about that, sharing all of those things, you're making it really fucking hard for people who are beginning bakers. You're making it so hard for them. Nobody's saying that because it's fucking stupid. It's stupid. So why would you make this argument that the social media highlight reel is responsible for the suffering of other women? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's so dumb. It is so dumb. And these are the things that we just have to think about. We have to take that extra second to be like, well, wait a minute. Is this actually true? Does this actually apply? But here's my theory. My theory is that when we do that, whenever we say that society, again, this is following the logic that society somehow lied about motherhood. Society is saying that it's all fucking sparkles and rainbows all the time. When we make it society's problem, we are subconsciously, or maybe even sometimes consciously, abdicating our responsibility to fix it. And, here's the thing. Even if that were true, let's follow that scenario for a minute. Let's say that society 100% doesn't talk about how hard motherhood. Society is not making sitcoms about how hard motherhood is. There are no accounts. Nobody's talking about it. No one mentions how hard motherhood is. Let's say for a second that that's true, which it's not. Let's say that that's true. And then you become a mother and you find out, oh shit, it's really hard. It's still your responsibility to fucking fix it. It's still your responsibility to fix your relationship with your children. It's still your responsibility to do the work to make sure that you are leading your home with love and grace and happiness, even if society did lie about it. So let's stop having this conversation that's not even accurate to begin with and start focusing on solutions. See, because what we do is we keep going back to, well, I want to be seen. I want to feel seen. So whenever I find content that highlights how hard motherhood is, whenever I find content that constantly talks about how hard motherhood is, it helps me be seen. And that's all good and well, I guess. Like, that's fine. I'm not saying that you should feel alone in your problems or you should be private and quiet about them. What I'm saying is you can't stop there. You can't stop there. Okay, you're seen. Because for some reason you thought that you were the only person in the world that had it hard as a mother. I don't know. Maybe that happens. So what now? You can't continue to sit at the table of people who are struggling. You can't. You have to orient yourself, and you have to look for people who have solved the problem that you're having. And you're not going to find your solutions if you are constantly sitting with your problems. You're not going to help yourself if you are constantly consuming and absorbing content that reinforces the idea that motherhood is patently, inherently difficult, lonely, miserable, and thankless. You won't. You won't. You are your thoughts. You are what you continue to think about is what's going to be your reality for you. And that's not some like law of attraction stuff. It's just facts. It's facts. So what I do is whenever okay, here's an example. I have a problem keeping my house clean. I love cleaning. Like, I truly enjoy it. But I can't keep my house clean. Like, I have a hard time keeping it clean and comfortable, and that's because, one, we live here, right? But for a long time, I accepted a dirty home as synonymous with motherhood. And what's happened, I mean, how do I explain? So what happened was I ended up seeking out things that would prove that wrong. And I found accounts like Clutter-Free Mom of 3. I found accounts like The Homemaking Housewife. And they are people who focus on cleanliness and order and minimalism, things like that. So those accounts have influenced me heavily and have helped me orient myself to find solutions to keep my house cleaner. And you know what? My house is fucking cleaner. And it sounds so obvious and so simple that it's easy to assume like, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And I mean, I don't know. If you're looking for excuses, you're going to find them. But for me, that's what it comes down to. Constantly questioning, one, the content that you're consuming, saying, is this accurate? Is this true? If it is true, do I need to be thinking about it all the time? Is that going to help me? If I'm constantly thinking about postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, the fact that toddlers will scream for 3 hours a day sometimes, the fact that they fight about their sippy cups, like that, those are things that are true. They happen in motherhood, but is thinking about it constantly gonna help me? No, but what might help me is content that reminds me that it's normal, but here's how you fix it. Reminds me that it's normal, but here's what you can do to prevent it. Right? And that's what we need to be doing. So again, I want to reiterate that the content that I speak out against, I believe they are fully entitled to make it. They're entitled to make it. They have every right to, if that's how they want to express themselves in the world. I don't care. My point is, you, mama, have to be careful of how you're internalizing it, okay? And use it wisely. Recognize how it's making you feel. Ask yourself and be objective with, is this helping? Is it helping me? Is it helping me become the person that I want to become? And then react accordingly, right? Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. If you happen to listen, if you happen to like the episode, please share it on your social media. If you're listening on a podcasting app, please share it in your stories and tag me so I can thank you for listening. And I will see you guys in the next episode.